Welcome back to Bachi's neighborhood. All right, stories. Okay, I mentioned before how a lot of issues with some Japanese guys and stuff like this. So let's talk about some crooked cops. So before in Japan, uh, 50, 60 years ago, whatever, they stopped issuing club license, meaning clubs could stay open until 5, 6 in the morning. There could be dancing, there could be DJs, there could be all this other stuff. They stopped issuing those. I don't remember. I think it's after the war or something, so that to keep the negative like image, clubs, girls drink alcohol. So there's other types of license. There's I mean, it's hard to explain, but there's like a bar license, and there's restaurant license, and there's like a buy me drink license. For example, I mean, there's more details to this, and don't quote me on any of it. So all these different types of license have different rules and regulations. Like all three of them are allowed no dancing. No dancing allowed whatsoever because that's a club. So this one might allow people to stay up until 5 o'clock, but they can't have any arcade games or anything after 12 o'clock. The restaurant license allows them to serve alcohol and drink until 3 or 4 in the morning. Tables have to be certain distance apart. They can have like games at the counter, but whatever other restrictions. And then the buy me drink can be open until 2 o'clock, and they can have arcade games until 12. Just different regulations, like any kind of digital game, darts or whatever. Just to keep it strict. So when the police want to shut you down, they basically send two undercover cops in. They take pictures of people dancing in your club, and then they put you up on the chopping block. They raid the club, take the managers and the company employees down to the police station, and the first time is a warning. You get a warning saying if you get caught again, you'll be penalized, your club will be shut down, and you'll go to jail. So usually how clubs do that is they'll change the name of the club if that happens. So if the club is called uh, October, then they get raided once. They'll change the name to OTBR. So they don't have to change most of their like flyers and their logos and stuff. They just change the official name on paper, and so that gives them another warning. Now, usually Yokohama didn't have this problem. It's mostly done in Roppongi, which is the club district. That's where a lot of the clubs are. But because of the Olympics coming to Japan, because of something, they've actually now allow club licensing, so it's not a problem. The dancing and everything is okay. A lot of people, because we have signs up to say no dancing. We put the signs up because by law we have to. People be like, why does it say no dancing? I mean, that's stupid. It's hard to explain this to a Navy guy who's been drinking or a tourist who come in. Just say, it's just Japanese law. We have to put that up. So you you have to deal with a lot of cops, and you have to grease the wheels. Let's just say, because you don't want to be on the radar. And when you're a club that causes a lot of issues, like my club, because we had such a mixture of people, and the Japanese fighting with the Americans, the British or the Russians fighting with the Colombians, and it was just the cops came a lot. So the owners of the club, they greased a lot of pockets. I mean, there was a lot of you know keeping the police commissioner happy or whatever, I guess to say. I don't know the details. It wasn't my side. I just know that there was a lot of private dinners and stuff. So I remember one time a detective, he came in and he asked me some questions. He was like, "Look, we're trying to find these people. We know they're involved in this and this and this, and I've heard rumors that they come into your club once in a while." So I was like, I looked at the pictures and I played dumb. I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I can't tell you, kind of thing. Maybe they do, but we get so many people." And he's like, "Look, I just want to know if they come in. Just tell me when they're here. Just call me. This is my personal number, and call me and things like that." So the guys he was talking about were troublemakers. They were kind of mafia low levels, and I was very strict. I mean, if there was any types of drugs caught in my club or around my club, you're out. You're banned for life. I don't play with that. I don't deal with that. That was a no. I've never touched drugs in my life. My club was clean, and I told the cops that. They understood it. I mean, everybody who knows me knew that. So I didn't like the guys because they were dealers, and I'd thrown them, a couple of them out a couple of times. I never caught them with it, but I knew what they were doing. I think they were doing it in the parking lot above. So, I talked to the owner, and I'm like, "This is what they want." And he was like, "Well, we have to keep this relationship with the cops, so it might be a good idea and if you don't like those customers, keep them out." So I was like, "You know what? We'll see." So like 4 or 5 days later, the guys come in, and I didn't want to do anything. I don't want to be a rat or snitch or anything. I mean, even though I don't like them, it's just snitches get stitches. So I ignored it. And then they caused a problem. They got in a big fight, caused a big issue. The cops came, and when I knew when the cops got there that it would be, so I before the cops came, I called the detective. I was like, hey, the guys that you're looking for are here, but they're leaving right now. We just kicked them out. So, so he was like, okay, yeah, just hold them for a second and stuff. So we didn't have to hold them because the cops already came and they were all talking, but these guys wanted to get out of there because I'm sure they had drugs in their car. I'm sure they had it on them. So I see the detective pull up while the cops are talking, and it wasn't us. It was their little gang fought some, I want to say like some Japanese break dancers. It was probably something happened. There was a fight. And so the break dancers are the ones who called the cops because one of their little gang guys punched one of the kids and stuff. And all we did was just kept them until the cops got there. So the cops are talking to them, getting both sides of the stories, and these guys are just like, wait, just where they want to go. But they were wrong because they punched the kid, so the guy who punched the kid had to be there. So the detective pulls up, and he looks at me, and I just kind of look over at the guys, and he's like, okay. And that was it. They did their little thing, they left, and we banned the guys from the club, the ones who caused the problems. Never said anything about it again. So about a month or 2 months later, the detective came, and he brought me like a box of cookies and cakes and stuff, and he was like, I want to say thank you because we did what we needed to do. We got who we needed to do. They busted like whoever the big dealer, probably the distributor or whatever. They followed the guys probably. I don't know details. They wouldn't give them to me. They just like, because of your help, we finished our 1 year survey, whatever they were doing. So he was like, plus I got promoted to head lieutenant of that division or that section of the area that I was in. And I was like, oh, congratulations. I didn't do anything. They're the ones who got in trouble. That was all between you guys. And he was like, yeah, but you didn't have to. And honestly, I didn't think you were going to, but it was good to see that you helped us out on this one. And I was like, I'm not a fan of the mafia. Those guys cause problems. So, however I can help. So he left, and he gave me his number. He's like, look, call me if you ever have an issue. If you ever have a problem, just call me any time of the day. I'm usually on the nights, so when you're open, I'm around. So, okay. Of course, I never called the guy until one day we get in a big fight with these Japanese kids. They were dancing and wrestling, and they pushed each other into the wall, and they busted our wall. They like broke what do you call that? Whatever. Wall stuff. I forget what it's called. It just brain fart. It was just in my head. So they put a hole in the wall, and we take them out. We throw them out, and they're like, it wasn't us, but they got not plaster, whatever that is, all in their clothes, and I mean you could tell that in the perfect height, and they were right there wrestling when I saw them do it. And this was a weekday, so it wasn't busy. It was just they were like their little group in the corner dancing and having fun. So we take him outside, and one of the guys was like trying to grab the railing as he's going down, and I guess he scratched his hand. So by Japanese law, if customers hurt, we're wrong no matter what. It's not like the States. We're not allowed to put our hands on customers. If you put your arms around somebody's neck, that's considered attempted murder because you're choking them. It's crazy laws, so you have to be extremely careful. And that was difficult. But anyway, we throw them out, and they call the cops, which is fine. I mean, they broke my club, so they can pay me for the thing. So the cops get there, and these guys are telling the cops all this stuff. We threw them out, we picked them up by their throats, and we didn't. We have it on camera. So, I'm like, look, you guys can go look at the camera. The only thing is I didn't have the where they were partying on camera, so I couldn't prove that they put the hole in the wall. So I'm talking to the cop, and he's just like, yeah, like not even listening to what I'm saying. I'm like, hey, I'm telling you what's going on. If you want to see the cameras, I'll show you. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And right out of nowhere, this Japanese kid punches me, literally. While I'm talking to the cop like this, I just, and I'm like, what the? I look over, this Japanese kid's like, what? And it didn't hurt. I mean, the kid's 4 foot tall. Arms are, my daughter is built bigger than him. It didn't hurt at all, but I'm like, thank God he hit me. So now you can arrest these guys, get them out of here, and can go back to the club. So I looked at the cop, and I was like, you saw that, right? So what are you going to do? And he looked at me, and in Japanese, he said, he was like, yeah, shouhanai, gaijin ga mukatsuku dakara. And which means, what can I do? You foreigners piss us off, so you deserve it, basically. So I looked at him like, what did you just say? And he was like, you deserve it. You foreigners come here and you think you guys can, do whatever you want. Sometimes you deserve to be hit. This is a cop. Now, this is a police officer. And I know, in the States, there's a lot of this and that, whatever, however, the racism side and who's wrong, what's wrong. But in this case, the cop was 100% wrong, and he wasn't there to protect me. And so, I got a sense of feeling what it feels like in some situations. So I looked at him and I was like, he just punched me, and you're saying that it's because I'm a foreigner. And he was like, yeah. And so the other cop came up and he saw kind of what was going on. So the other cop kind of grabbed him, a little older, and they grabbed the kid away because this was going to be a fight in about 10 seconds. But I was so shocked at what this cop said that I wouldn't even think about this kid. And my security kind of just like pushed him away and the cops got in. And I'm just like, what can I do? So I called the detective. I was like, hey, can you please come here right now? We have a problem with one of your cops. So, the detective comes and I'm still arguing with this cop. And I'm like, you heard what he said. And I tell the other cops, you heard what he said, because there was two other cops right there. They're like, yeah, calm down, calm down. I was like, no, I'm not calming down. I don't know Japanese law in this situation, but I know this is a lawsuit somehow. I know I'm going to sue you. So the detective comes and he comes up. He's like, oh, Bachi, what's going on? I was like, this guy just said, and I told him what happened, what he said. And he looked at the guy and said, did that really happen? Did you really say that? And then the Japanese cop was like, yeah, I mean, and then the other two guys were like, yes, sir, that's what was said. So this cop slaps him in the back of the head and just slaps him so hard. The guy falls forward, hat comes off. And he's like, you need to apologize to him right now and stuff. And so the guy was like, I'm sorry. And he's like, no, you do a proper apology, and puts him down on his hands and knees to apologize to me. But the other two cops are like, he's threatening to press charges, lawsuit. So the lieutenant pulls me aside and he's like, Bachi, I understand what happened. I understand that was wrong. I understand why you're upset. I can't stop you from filing a suit or pressing charges or anything like that. But all I can say is, you're a club. You run club business. By law, you're already illegal. So if you pick a fight with the police station or with the cops, you're going to get shut down. They're going to come back with you full force. He goes, I can't protect you from that. I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you if your business is important to you, you're just going to have to let this drop and let me take care of it. And I promise you, that guy will be working at a police station in Hokkaido by the end of the month. And I was just like, you know what can I do? I don't want to pick a fight with the cops because, we're greasing their pockets anyway. So they leave and I'd call the owner. I tell him what happened. And he was like, yeah, you can't. But I was so mad. It was shocking to know that I had no power whatsoever. Cop was just like, you foreigners piss us off. You deserve a punch once in a while. That was a cop. So there are racist people here, and even the police. So you got to be careful with the cops. It's not like they're going to protect you, because not all of them are good and not all of them are bad. Just like the States and anywhere else, you have your good ones and you have your bad ones. Deal with the bad ones the best you can, and praise the good ones. So that's my story with some cop issues and stuff like that. I don't know whatever happened to the lieutenant. I never really talked to him real much after that. Once in a while he came by and say hi, but he liked baseball. I gave him a couple baseball tickets over the years, and he's probably retired by now. So I hope you enjoyed it. That's the end of my story this round. So stay tuned, and we'll come up with some more. Talk to you later.